Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. I am your grateful host, and in studio with me, Q Money Magic Man. What's up, Q?
Another beautiful day outside.
Another beautiful day in the hood. Hey, Big Tip. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Glad to be back. Wasn't feeling too great. Feeling much better. The day is still wonderful, and people are wonderful. You know, I get to go around Acadiana a lot, and I get to visit a lot of folks, and just what I do. And I just, we got some good people here from Lafayette, Iberia, St. Martin, Vermilion. You can go on and on and on. Acadia, I don't want to leave anybody else out. You know who I'm talking about, if you can hear this. But our culture's so unique, like everywhere, but we're so united. It's an interesting little dynamic. Good crawfish everywhere. Boudin's good. All the things.
And that gumbo.
Always, baby. Always. But I just, and if you're ever, involved in the public, you get to see that kind of stuff. So we don't pause to really highlight the everyday worker out there, the everyday family member. I highlighted parishes, not just Lafayette, but around, that I personally get to see so much. And just beautiful people, man. All right, let's go up to Minneapolis. Also hey, come on, there's some beautiful people over there too. Just got some policies that are kind of interesting. Highlight a few here. So, we'll talk about some and how we have a little selective outrage when it goes to those types of policies. But let's see here. So, Minneapolis, well, they kind of keep telling the country a little story here. Wouldn't you guys agree? I think it keeps getting stranger, though, the longer you listen to it. But we definitely have a novel. Well, the mayor over there in Minneapolis, he went on CNN this week, and he complained about federal immigration enforcement and the Trump administration pulling 700 agents out of the city after the deadly shootings we've covered. Fair topic, it's a fair topic. Serious subject. But then CNN's host, hey, do something rare here. She reminds him that the very policy he's criticizing today was in place during the Obama years. Same jail cooperation, same ICE presence, same legal framework, and suddenly the mayor looks like it's getting fuzzy, or he's getting fuzzy. So Jacob Frey, he says that he doesn't really know how the jail operates. That's a fair statement. Says it's not his jurisdiction. Okay. Says things get technical. Starts talking about warrants and detentions and legal mechanisms, and I think that answer itself tells us all we need to know, or tells us a lot. This is about politics. This is not about policy. This is about people in power taking their personal vendettas out on their political opponents and doing so in a way that is absolutely most of us wouldn't even fathom, especially like in some of these situations where there's like an election. You win an election, you move on. You don't go try to ruin people's lives. You don't go try to purposefully harm people and their family. That's just, most people would know not to do that. It's not good. It's not moral. And the citizenry knows that. But, sometimes people do it. And we pray for those folks. And that's what I'm asking you to do. And we could talk about all the drama and all that stuff. But there are a lot of people in power. If you think about it, there are a lot of people in power. National, state, local. Look at your local governments. A lot of people in power. Pray for them, man. Power does something. I went through it. I went through it when I had ego. I went through it when God humbled me. I've been through it all. But never once did any of us think about using that to harm people or any of that stuff. But take me out of it. I just told you that because I felt the weight of power. But we really, like, seriously, deep down inside, when you're on your knees, man, pray for every single leader, whether you voted for them or not. Pray for their family. Even the ones that hate you. maybe you rooted for the other person. Pray for them. Like, seriously. You forgive, you pray, you move on. Because if that person's not moving on, maybe you can help the community move on. But we take the high ground, we love, and we pray, and we lead. And we lead in kindness. So when evil comes at us, whether it's local, state, national, whatever, whether it affects you directly or indirectly, it's tough. Follow the cross. Now, back to Minneapolis. This is all about politics. This is not about policy. Because when the same rule exists under President Obama, for example, what do we call it? What does the media call it for years? Rightfully so. The media was right. Cooperation. But, DJT does it. The big mean orange man. Talk about lawfare. It's called coercion. Why is it coercion under Trump, but cooperation under other presidents? I'm not even going to highlight just President Obama. The policy didn't change. The vibes did. And that should never affect objective governance. And here's what regular folks, I think most of us understand innately. Hey, if someone is out there doing the wrong thing, if they serve their sentence, and ICE has a lawful detainer, that's the key. Is it a lawful detainer through all this process, all the stuff? Usually the system hands them over. That's how it's worked for years. Quietly, without press conferences, without activists camping out in churches. None of that stuff. I think what changed here is local leadership decided resistance plays better with their base than responsibility. All right, my peeps, stick around. We'll be right back, and I can't wait. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. This segment brought to you by my buddy over there, Keith Kishbaugh, over at Kishbaugh Construction, good American patriot, American company right here in Acadiana, right here in Lafayette. Thank you, my boy Kish, not only for what you do for the show, but for what you do for the party and what you do for the community, my friend. A lot of people don't realize all the stuff that Kishbaugh Construction does. Donate time, material, especially in times of need, man. That's pretty admirable. Thank you, my boy. Kish. All right, let's see here. Man, hey, before we go back to Minneapolis, I just got a message from my friend in the U.S. Senate race, not in the U.S. Senate race, but about the U.S. Senate race. Getting kind of neat, huh? Getting kind of interesting. So my other guy, Blake Miguez, he gets out of the U.S. Senate race. He wisely, what a move. Boy, what a move, huh? No, what a move. So we're thinking, so he's running for U.S. Senate. He's blowing and going. Miss Letlow gets in, has the Trump endorsements, like, ooh, man, takes the wind out of the sails of a lot of folks. Blake then says, all right, well, he gets into the 5th congressional district. And, he picked up President Trump's endorsement. So this could be kind of like a collaborative effort. Like it could be maybe Julia Letlow, seriously, Julia Letlow, Senator, Blake, 5th congressional district. You know, Clay is going to be there till as much as Clay wants in the 3rd congressional district. Maybe Julie Emerson comes in. No, really, I'm just saying she got out of the race. And look, these are all wonderful people.
Oh, yeah.
I like them all. And if that's the slate, guys, we got, I want Clay Higgins to stay in there for as long as, possible. I love consistent vote, great guy with great character, great team that answers calls and gets out in the field. That's what you want, okay? Hey, and if my other buddy, Julie Emerson's on the wings, look, man, great. That's the whole state covered right there almost. So this could be what started off kind of a debacle in the Republican Party here in the great state of Louisiana. Maybe, just maybe, it might be coming together. And I say that to highlight the positive. You know, we always talk about the negative. I don't like doing all that all the time. Positive. And I think that's positive. Who knows if that's how it shakes out? Maybe I'm just dreaming. Maybe I'm like, how can it be a really good pick? How can it be a really good slate? So that's it. Now, that leaves us in the U.S. Senate. So you got Senator Cassidy, and you got Secretary Fleming, and you got Julia Letlow. I love my boy Fleming. That's the message I got. I don't want to disclose who said it, just out of privacy, but hey, the secretary's been on the program several times, 2 times in this capacity. He's been on several times. Honest guy, conservative as it can get, member of the founding member of the Freedom Caucus. Now, what do you think?
I think that he was putting America first before it was popular, like he said in the past. And I think it's hard to look at Fleming's record and to set aside his candidacy. He may not have been part of the recent shakeup, but his conservative bona fides, they're unimpeachable, really.
So who gets in the runoff?
Ooh.
Like, really, who gets in the – because when it was kind of crowded, I didn't even know if towards the end there, I didn't know if even Senator Cassidy would make it. But I think he's in now, and does Senator Cassidy and Congresswoman Letlow, do they split a vote? But does Fleming be in North Louisiana and Letlow be in North Louisiana, do they split a vote?
Ooh.
You know? But John's been down in Baton Rouge for a while now, or a little bit. I'll tell you this. If Secretary Fleming is the senator for Louisiana, I'm high-fiving.
Absolutely.
I mean, I'm very much a conservative. He is very much a conservative. In full candor, if Julia Letlow wins, okay? She is a different type of, she is actually a true blue, like true red Republican, and that could infuriate conservatives sometimes. but not nearly to the level of somebody that votes not in accordance with our values down here. So, hey, also, guys, we got the St. Jude-a-thon going on. You saw that over there, Q-Dog?
I think they got a number out to text.
Absolutely. So folks can sign up to become a partner in Hope by texting LIVE, L-I-V-E, to 626262. That's 362s, 626262. Hey, it's $19 a month. It'll come out automatically if that's how you set it up. Real easy. Help a great cause. This is the St. Jude-a-thon, 626262. Go help some kids out. All right. So back to, you want to talk, what do you want to go U.S. Senate race still?
Let's go U.S. Senate race.
Yeah, let's do that. So, man, this is interesting. Who makes the runoff? Who makes the runoff? I think if I had to vote today, or if I had to pick which one's in, I don't know. If I had to make a command decision, sure. Cassidy Letlow.
Definitely.
And I say that I say that with love, and I say that now. In 2 weeks, my opinion could very much change because I want to see what happens with very interesting that Letlow got the endorsement, because if you really think about it, John Fleming has been like he was in Trump's cabinet.
Exactly.
And already in the race. What's up with that?
It has to come down to either polling or fundraising numbers.
Yeah.
That's the two things that drive the needle on endorsements.
Yeah, and maybe they're looking at it and saying, well, we love John, but I don't know if he can win.
Right.
So we know we have a clean slate candidate with Julia Letlow, that it's, hey, you can argue conservative values. For the most part, her voting record's conservative. For the most part, it's always Republican.
Absolutely.
So it's something to think about. Okay, when you're judging. I'm not saying that's a reason to go vote for, okay? But because John Fleming is a conservative, and sometimes maybe he would. I don't think he balks the Republican Party over there, but I think he influences it in a conservative way, and to me that's appealing. But no hard feelings if Julia Letlow is the senator, guys. I'm telling you, and if it turns out where this is like kind of now a good team plan, and we got some good, like the next crop coming in. You know, you got Blake over there in the 5th district. Julie, I don't even know if she announced. I'm saying Julie. I'm just saying she ran for U.S. Senate and got out. So if she's still out, if that's the plan, I love her. I think she's a wonderful person, and I think that would be great. So that would be what a team, you know? I think that would be great. But we'll figure it out. Look, let's take a little break. We're going to open the phone lines up. Talk to us about this U.S. Senate race. I want to see your thoughts, too, or hear your thoughts, and see them on chat. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Let's see here, guys. Let's talk about my friends over there at C-Safe. Hey, when strength matters, when custom matters, when failure's not an option, C-Safe delivers. C-Safe FRP products, they're engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, outlast the competition in the harshest environments, from offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants, everywhere in between. Their products are American-made. We love that. They're manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. Check them out. SeaSafe.com, S-E-A, just like the ocean. All right, let's go to the phone lines. Let's talk about that U.S. Senate race. It did kind of get a little interesting, huh? All these folks, hey, they get into the U.S. Senate race. They advocate. They say their platform. All of them had a great platform. They're good people, great people. Some of them get out. Some of them kind of go into some other races. I think this is a fantastic day. I think this is really good. So of all the times that, we kind of have bad news or we have sad news or whatever it is, we don't need to gripe all the time. This is good. All right. Now, I want to go to Mr. Blue Wave because he may disagree with me. I don't know, but he's a good guy too. What's up, Mr. Blue Wave?
Oh, I got a prediction. You ready for it, for the Super Bowl?
Okay, go for it.
The Blue Wave Seahawk.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. And look, and they're wearing blue.
Hey, July Seaway. Hey, July Seaway. C-Safe, I mean.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. They're like C-Safe of the West Coast. I got you.
Hey, Blue Wave Seahawk.
Okay.
This weekend.
All right.
Yes.
Quentin, put it down. Mr. Blue Wave called it. Thank you, Mr. Blue Wave. Hey, you never know. You never know. All right, who we going to? Let's see here. Justin. What's up, Justin?
Oh, not too much. So I don't want to burst your bubble, and I don't think we should count all our eggs in her basket. But I work with several guys that live up in the Monroe area in District 5.
Okay.
Julia Letlow is not very popular up there.
Ooh. Oh.
I have a feeling that she got pushed into the Senate thing because she ran the risk of not being able to win her race.
Man.
Come this year.
Okay. See, now that's something I didn't think, the local perspective.
And let me also say, these four guys that I work with that live up there, they are like MAGA Trump
okay.
hardcore.
So they're talking. They're talking. Wow. Hey, Justin, I had never thought about the local perspective from the 5th Congressional District. That is a great point. Hey, great call as always, Justin. You know I love you. All right, let's see here. Who we going to? All right, caller, you are live on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from? That's you, caller. All right. Well, call back 232-5042, 844-766-6607. Hey, guys, the St. Judathon coming on, 626262. It's Live, L-I-V-E. I said live the last segment. I got fussed at. Okay, but you know what? Tomato. Let's help out some kids going through a lot, and let's help out their families. This is wonderful. You can text 626262. Text Live, L-I-V-E, all caps, or I'm sure they'll take whatever you send. Live, live, 626262, $19 a month, and you can really help some folks over there. Thank you for your consideration. All right, let's, you got anything else on the Senate race? That Justin's call. Justin's call got me thinking.
Man, that radically changes things. If the locals weren't happy, then they have to move. But that does impact North Louisiana and whether or not she can carry it. And if she can't, that's a problem.
Justin, calling in with some intel. I didn't even think about it like that. I just assumed, she's going to walk in re-election. I didn't think about it like that. And the guys that he's thinking of, MAGA, and, I spent a little time in North Louisiana. There's some conservative folks up there. And if there is some frustration in maybe some of the establishment Republican policies, maybe this debt stuff or, omnibus, maybe that's not sitting well with a lot of folks, and maybe they're thinking a lot of money plus Trump's endorsement can overcompensate outside the 5th Congressional District. Wow. John, naturally, being in the North, should be able to swoop up those votes if that's the sentiment.
Absolutely.
And he can run. Like, the cool thing about Secretary Fleming, no harm, no foul. He has his own Trump cred. He can run on how many pictures do they have together where he's advising the president. And that he was up there. I remember meeting with him when he was in the cabinet. And very, very I forgot what we were doing on opportunity zones, maybe. It was something radical. No, it was. By the way, side note, see, that was a conservative administration. Trump putting these opportunity zones. We'll talk about it another day, maybe. Great opportunity zones. Great initiative. Let's go to Renee. He's got some good initiatives. What's up, Renee? Bring the heat, baby.
Yeah, my initiative is just like a policeman, a marshal, intelligence officer, politician should have drug screening, background screening, so make sure they don't owe nobody and they're not pliable to a subversion, and criminal and political screening. With that, you maybe wouldn't have had that, I don't know, Lil Nas in chief, and maybe even not even Biden would have been president if we had that.
Well, Renee, I think
I'm
a lot
saying,
of
quality tests for quality people.
Yeah, civics test would help too. I was just throwing it out there, maybe like a little 10th grade civics test. Nothing wrong. Easy. Make it the same that the immigrants have to take. I think. How about if all people running for office had to take the same civics exam that the lawful immigrants have to take?
I've taken some of the practice tests just for fun, just because I wanted to make sure that I could pass
I'm gonna go try it.
And some of the questions actually get a little complex dealing with our laws.
Oh, wow.
They'll ask specific questions. What amendment did this or what amendment did that? And I'm like, man, civics was a long time ago.
Yeah, and and Renee brings up drug tests and all these stuff. Yeah, hey, whatever. It's so what he's saying is, can we have some qualifying factors? The whole criminal thing that can be so politicized. That's why look at all the lawfare they did with Trump. So if we had it, think about it. Think about what they had to do to stretch on some of those charges on Trump. Up in New York. The one that prescribed it, but they went at a higher crime based on a lower crime that wasn't even like a thing. That's what they had to do, okay? And politicize. So we got to be careful with the criminal aspect of it because they can throw an arrest with ease. They can throw a conviction sometimes. Look at if it's the right circumstances, sadly, and maybe the appeal process helps, but they didn't even let the appeal go through. That's why I thought they should have. I thought they should have still pursued the appeal just to show like this was lawfare.
And set the precedent.
Yes, and now look, and you have lawfare all over the place. So you got to be careful. All right, let's see here. Well, speaking of some stuff, we got the Clintons. We got the Clintons. We got the Epstein stuff going on.
Yeah, wasn't Epstein and Clinton in the Epstein files like hundreds of times with pictures and?
So what's this on? I'm asking you blindly, and if you don't know, you don't know. What's all this talk about? Trump's all in the files and pictures. Is he all in there too?
In some areas, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but you go on Facebook now and social media, and when you're scrolling up and stuff, I have a hard time figuring out what's real.
Oh, me too.
Like, is it AI? Is it not AI? Is it facts? Is it not facts? And of course, Q and I run my page together, and we try to put some stuff that's accurate. One or two times, if we mess up, we got to go back and edit. But man, I just wonder if the other folks are doing that.
I doubt it.
And it's because you got a responsibility when you got a mic. You try to hopefully everybody tries to promote good. All right, let's go to this caller. I bet you there's a lot of good here. All right, caller, you alive on the Josh Guillory Show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Josh. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
This is Steve.
All right, Steve.
Josh, one of the more important things that we have as citizens is not very used very often is the power of jury nullification.
Okay.
And we could put an end to a lot of these little silly make-believe charges that are against people, or some of these little crazy ding-a-ling laws that they pass. If we don't agree, we just won't find the guy guilty. And even if you have to pee off everybody in the jury pool, you're the only one refusing to vote for refusing to vote guilty. You explain why you done it, and you refuse to go ahead with the guilty verdict, and that's it. But the power of jury nullification is a very big power. It seems like people get in that courtroom, they get kind of numb out of fear or whatever, and they just go along with whatever. Oh, well, they said it was so.
Oh, we lost the connection. What's your thoughts on that? I don't know much about it. And what was he saying? Like the first part? But I didn't want to interrupt because he was flowing well.
I think he was talking about jury nullification, which is where a juror will take a moral stand on an issue instead of evaluating a case only based off of the evidence presented. It's been considered a check on the judiciary for years, but it's also not really okay in the sense that you take you make a promise to evaluate a case based off of the evidence presented, not your own personal opinions walking in the door.
Yeah. Hey, look, great discussion. I know we're hitting a hard break here. Let's take a tiny little break. When we get back, we're going to keep the phone lines open. Give us a call, 232-1542. You want to talk about the Senate race? You want to talk about Epstein, the Clintons? Oh, they like cameras. That's good. All right. Give us a shout. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL Studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also on Rumble.com. Go check us out, Rumble.com. Look up the Josh Guillory Show, and we certainly would want to see you there. Big Tib got the chat started, then it kind of went a little quiet. Let's see you over there. All right. This segment, by the way, brought to you by my friends over there at Dino's. Dino's Pizza, 3 locations. Same great service, same great staff, same great menu. And maybe some. You know, they're always doing something special over there. Go check them out. Dino's. Yeah, suddenly the Clintons, we mentioned this earlier about the Epstein files and stuff like that, etc. They are now agreeing to testify. They said, but they'll do it by video. I don't have a problem with it. You got a problem with it?
As long as they show up and give the testimony they're supposed to, I'm good with it being on video.
Yeah, people are kind of, you got to, why? Why make it inconvenient when you don't have to?
Well, they still have to appear. It's just now that they want it on record video.
Oh, so they physically have to go. Oh, I love that.
Absolutely.
And that's actually, I think, wasn't that Hillary's idea?
It was.
Yeah, that's okay. Let it all out.
I think they want clips they can cut up and run with.
This is political more than policy. And hey, all right. I mean, go. I do hope that everybody can be professional.
Agreed.
You know, because most America, it seems like, wanted these files released. Most people want honesty. The people that care. I don't know if everybody cares, but most people that know about that situation generally want the Epstein files released. So if the Clintons know whatever they know and they're willing to show up and they want it on the record like that, wonderful. Now, how does everybody use that? Because we have an opportunity for good. If everybody, both the Clintons and the committee, if everybody acts in good faith, bring truth, I'm telling you, we can learn a lot of stuff. Now, that's one end of the spectrum. That doesn't get much headlines. It doesn't get much clicks. It doesn't get much, press conferences and video clips and stuff like that. But boy, would it be good governing.
It would be a refreshing change for sure.
Just bring the truth. Just bring the truth, whatever it is. So, hey, I give the Clintons kudos for this. I don't know where that's coming from, but any more thoughts on that?
I think it was the threat of contempt that got them to the bargaining table. They after the point blank refusing to show up for the first one.
Yeah.
They had to do something.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Now, what did Steve Bannon? Did he show up?
I don't remember if Bannon went and refused to testify or if he just didn't show up.
Yeah, I can't remember either. I just know most of the time I don't think this story would have given me much pause. I think what it gets me, all these stories just keep reminding me of lawfare. I'm not saying this is, okay, because the Clintons didn't show up. All right, I'm not saying this is lawfare, okay? I'm not. It just gave me pause in this environment that we live in. I said it with Trump, and I just keep warning anybody in power, do not abuse your power for political gain. It's just, it doesn't, but, if they can do it to Trump, look what they can do to everybody else. So
Exactly.
All right. Now, Barry Loudermilk. Have you heard of him?
Is he in the dairy business?
It would seem that would be a good fit. Mr. And his milk is louder. Anywho, all right. I think that, let's just talk about Congressman Barry Loudermilk. He announced that he's not running again. No scandal, no meltdown, no sudden lobbyist job announcement, not yet. Just a decision. And I'm saying this because maybe this actually restores a little faith. He said public office is a service. It is not a career. He said his district is solid. He said his family matters more right now. And that alone sets him apart. Loudermilk will be the 29th House Republican not seeking re-election this cycle. Some people see that as panic. I think we can look at it and see something different. How about turnover? Is that fair? Can we look at this like that? Because that's what this is. A healthy system does not trap people in permanent office holding. Rotates, refreshes. It reminds leaders they are temporary stewards. They're not owners. They don't own the property. They don't own anything. They're stewards of it. So this is the closest we got to term limits. Someone just feeling that they, So, hey, and Loudermilk, he's no rookie. He chaired the January 6th select subcommittee. That wasn't easy. It wasn't popular anywhere. But he did it anyway, But now he's stepping aside on his own terms. And, hey, I think that's how service should look like. Either you don't get reelected. Hey, I wasn't reelected. Move on. Or you just say, hey, job done. I did what I came here to do, or I did the best I can. I don't want to be a permanent fixture in Washington. I mean, look at this guy. I want to put my family first. I don't blame him on that. Quitting. That's why I ain't running for nothing. Well, I'm just saying. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. Stick around, guys. Hour number 2, right around the corner. Sit down. Let's do it. You want to go on the show? Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I was visiting with Wink. Love him. You can't talk to him and not be in a good mood. Like, that's like joy walking around the studio. I love it. The morning show's looking good, sounding good over here at KPEL. Just happy to be part of the lineup, bringing everybody's ratings down. I'm kidding. Hey, guys, we're broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Join us on rumble.com, The Josh Guillory Show. I remain your very grateful and humble host, and in studio with me still, my main man over there. Well, my main man is Jamie, my Q Money Magic Man. There we go. What's up?
Another beautiful day.
Yeah. I got a message from Jamie today. He sent me some information on Senator Graham. You know, that's his favorite senator. That's his favorite senator.
Senator Graham.
I'm just saying, boy, I tell you what, he's been tough.
He's been angry.
You saw that?
Man, they took away his Arctic Frost money and he lost it.
Angry Graham ain't messing around.
Said he'd keep the government shut.
I'm gonna shut this thing down if you don't give me that and some heels.
Pretty much.
So let's go into. All right. So back to Minneapolis. No. We're going to switch that topic big time. All right, so let's drift into something. Actually, Bud, before we go back into into this next topic, I do want to dip back into the U.S. Senate race. Man, so when we really dive into it and we see who makes the runoff, like, what are your, like, I just kind of breezed over in the first, and the reason why we're saying this guy's U.S. Senate race here in Louisiana got kind of interesting. And look, if this was all orchestrated and planned in a loving way, great. I think there's some politics involved that's probably sometimes that you don't want. But at the end of the day, if we end up with a U.S. Senator, either Fleming or Letlow, okay, conservatives, you know, can love John Fleming and Republican. You got a safe Republican vote there, okay, whatever that means. All right. But man, in this other slate, you have Senator Miguez, State Senator Miguez. He gets out. He's running for the 5th district. That's Letlow's current congressional district. Okay, great. If he becomes that, that's another voice in Washington from our state that's conservative. I messaged poor Julie. I said, I'm sorry I endorsed you for the third congressional district after Clay retires. I hope you didn't mind. She hadn't replied back. But that's a compliment and genuine. But look, I think this could be a happy day for Louisiana Republicans, because the future does kind of look like, hey, there's some good stuff there's some good voices that are about to emerge on the national level, and I think that's a good thing. Man. So, any thoughts on that?
I think the way it's panned out definitely keeps the in-party fighting down. So we're not going to see another Risponi, Ralph Abraham situation.
Yes,
So,
and that was a concern.
absolutely.
Or do we? Because here's the deal. Someone's going to have to take votes from someone, and it's a three-way race, 3-person race right now, basically. All right? So who takes what? You got the North Louisiana thing. That's Julia Letlow and John Fleming. But then what Justin called in hour number 1, he brought up something I didn't think about, and that was, well, what's the local sentiment?
Exactly.
And this is Justin, and look, he always calls in with some good stuff. 4 MAGA friends that he knows personally that's up there, and they're like, mm-mm. So, and hey, maybe they're the only 4, but I doubt it. And those are folks that are interested.
Absolutely. And look, I think it's interesting having Blake Miguez run in the 5th district in North Louisiana. People from North Louisiana don't necessarily look and smile when people from South Louisiana go up there and tell them what they need to do.
Yep.
They tend to frown on that pretty heavily.
It is very interesting. Maybe he's banking on the districts changing whenever we redistrict.
Could be. We might end up with another Democrat district.
Oh, no. Well, Mr. Blue Wave would be happy, but I would not.
Yeah, I mean, we have an opportunity to fix it.
We do, and we should, and you know, why not? Everybody else is doing it. Oh, and the Supreme Court, I heard, ruled that California could redistrict as that. So there's straight up. Those are some Democrat districts coming up. I think they said they would change like flip 6 of them, if I'm not mistaken. That takes the majority right there.
Absolutely.
So Republicans on the national scale, hey, and here's the deal with this census thing, okay? It went through the channels. It went up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court has said what California is doing is okay. So basically, that's going to open. And now I didn't read the opinion, and maybe the opinion limits it a little bit, but that's the battlefield. And it is politicized, and it's not politicized necessarily in legal theory in a bad political way. It got here in a bad political way, you know, to gain votes. And really, though, guys, hasn't the census been used to do that for so many years with the illegal alien count to increase the population to gain seats? Isn't that always that's to some way, shape, or form? Hasn't the census been politicized for quite some time now? And if it's politicized and now stamped off in a legal way from the U.S. Supreme Court, well, use the vehicles you have. And now maybe that's a green light for our legislature. Maybe they will see this and say, you know, we could reconvene too. And maybe we could change our districts up. So perhaps Representative Miguez, maybe Congressman Miguez, maybe he's thinking of that.
Definitely that could be the case.
The district is already looking a little interesting. It's kind of like Cleo Fields' district.
When I look at how gerrymandered some of these districts are, like how are you going to have a district start in North Louisiana and go all the way to nearly Grand Isle?
Right.
That just doesn't make sense to me.
That's quite the travel.
Yeah, I mean, how you cover that district? You got a plane?
Well, you know, it's very interesting. And I think the folks of Louisiana are looking around, rightfully so. And you know, a lot of us are wondering, like, hey, you know, maybe we could revisit the district lines. Maybe so, you know. But pray for these legislators, pray for our governor, all the folks in charge. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Hey, this segment brought to you by my friends over there at Préjean's. Quentin, it is always gumbo weather.
Well, and since I pass in front of it almost every day, I can't help but stop and get at least a cup.
You have to. And they got other things too. So, all right, guys, let's, hey, America, we're the sole superpower again. Yes. So, according to a few reports here, for the first time in a long time, appears that the rest of the world is now kind of reacting to America instead of ignoring us. That alone tells you something has changed. So in just 1 year, back in office, just over a year, President Trump, if you think about it, he's kind of reset the global balance of power. And not through speeches, not through any of these like little summits, Y'all know what I'm talking about. These little summits that end with group photos. Maybe one of the world leaders is wandering off in the woods. You got to bring him back. Empty promises, all that stuff. Well, through results here, and that's what matters here, action. Through results that forced other countries to adjust their behavior, that came after our actions over the last year. Look at the tariffs, look at manufacturing, look at jobs. If you don't want to look at that, look at what all the experts said when President Trump issued these tariffs, how the sky was going to fall right then and there. So if anything, we know at minimum it's in between that, really good, and there we go. All right. So look at what happened in Davos. Saw that? Global elites panicked over Greenland.
Absolutely. It became the topic of the day.
Big time.
Even Governor Newsom from California made the trip.
No.
Yeah, and
Wait, hold on. He did?
He did.
He didn't fly there, though.
Well, he
hiked across the country, took a little canoe.
He had to have bought some trees somewhere in America to offset his.
Oh,
carbon.
a little offset. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, yeah. That makes sense. Hey, that makes sense.
He brought a.
I planted 522 plants.
I have the seeds with me.
Yes, indeed.
I'm gonna plant them in the snow.
But look at all that headlines, and what did it say though? Headlines screamed all this escalation.
Yep.
So they always try to pit Trump as the guy escalating everything, the guy throwing fire on gas on the fire. And while I don't always agree with everything he says, I promise you, I don't agree with 100% of anything anybody says. And same here. There's things I say on this radio show that maybe you guys that listen every day, sometimes you don't agree with me, and that's cool too. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But what I do think is wrong is false reporting and getting people all ramped up when you don't have to. And that's what the headlines coming out of Greenland did, and on the national or international level. I mean, markets tensed. You saw that, and that's what happens when there's uncertainty. And then within 24 hours, what do we see? The panic flipped to relief. I mean, within 24 hours. And it wasn't because we backed down. It wasn't because the United States just said, oh, never mind. It's because we gave clarified terms, and we locked in a framework that actually secures U.S. generations for future, or U.S. interests, should I say, for future generations. That's big. And when we exercise with confidence here, that you can show your power in a good way, help people. But history matters. And it matters here. It matters here. The United States has only been the world superpower twice before. Okay? After World War II and after the Cold War. Both moments faded. Like, let's look at history. Both moments faded because we forgot how rare and how fragile that position of being the world's sole superpower actually is. And this moment right now, this moment feels different because it rests on three pillars that actually hold weight. First, military strength. The strike on Iran's nuclear program ended a threat without dragging America into a war. We have to recognize that. The removal of a Venezuelan dictator happened very cleanly, decisively. I get it. People are outraged and all that stuff. Happened without any American casualties. That did kind of send a message to allies. I think it's one of the, and adversaries at the same time, but I think it's one of those where that was a unique situation where even the Biden administration was after him for all his drug activity and cartels. Very unique situation where it's a narco state, okay? You have a narco-terrorist dictator running that. Very, very, very unique circumstances that should happen very rarely. This can't be a thing. This has to be an exception, can't be the norm. And I think we've made that clear. But maybe we haven't, and maybe we just, be disciplined, stay on point, stay in good faith, you'll be all right. But a message was sent, regardless. And kind of shows that the United States can reach anyone kind of anywhere to finish the job. And when you have that, you don't need permission slips. Now, I'm not saying you use it, okay? What I'm saying is, as a sole superpower, just by definition, you do not need permission slips. What you do with that power will determine whether it was used for good or evil. But that's on the person that or people that are in charge at the time. That's with anything, at any level of government, national, state, or local. People in charge have choices. Do they use their position to hurt others? Do they use their position for politics? Or do they use their position to help people? That's at all levels of our government. So it's good to stay vigilant, stay alert, stay aware, stay positive, communicate in peace. But first, this military strength is why, okay? Meanwhile, you have Russia who's stuck in a grinding stalemate. You got China who has not fought a real war in decades, not provoking, just saying. Power respects clarity. And right now, our country has it very crystal clear. Second is economic strength. Trillions in foreign investment are now flowing back. And it's very easy. Trump made it more difficult and more painful to manufacture outside of the United States than to manufacture inside the United States. Manufacturing is back in policy focus. Energy is treated as an asset instead of some kind of sin. Global CEOs, they're betting on American growth because policy finally aligns with production instead of punishment. Look here in Louisiana. Look at the opportunity we have. Look at the shipping channel in Calcasieu. Look at the Port of Orleans. I mean, I could keep, we have a lot of opportunity. The Vermilion at one point had some economic, not all the way through Lafayette, but up to maybe Highway 14, maybe a little bit north. Had some. You have the little quarry right there off Ambassador. So, these are opportunities for, I know we're hitting a break, but I was about to elaborate on how some of those policies are affecting here in Acadiana and here in Louisiana, but I think the fine folks of this show understand that. All right, guys, we'll take a tiny little break. When we get back, I can't wait. Are we going to phones next?
We are.
Yes, 232-1542, 844-766-6607. I can't wait to hear from you. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show. We are broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. We're also broadcasting live from the Rumble studios. Go check us out at Rumble, rumble.com, the Josh Guillory Show. You can also check us out at my X page at Josh Guillory USA. Hey guys, let me tell you again about my friends over there at C-Safe. C-Safe FRP products. They're engineered to resist corrosion, reduce maintenance, outlast the competition in the harshest environments. We know about that. From offshore platforms to wastewater treatment plants, everywhere in between, C-Safe delivers. Their products over at C-Safe are American-made, manufactured right here in Acadiana by American workers. Check them out. csafe.com, SEA, just like the ocean. Happy to have my boy Clay over here in studio the other day. I learned a lot about FRP products. And I was happy to hear they do some, if it's the right circumstance, they'll do some residential too. So any kind of construction, man, if when in doubt, call them. Look them up. csafe.com. If they can't do it, they'll tell you. But it's worth calling them. All right. So we're talking about World Power Soul Superpower. We're going to go to the phone lines here. Just want to remind everyone, you know, there's three real reasons as I see it. One is military strength. The other one's economic strength. And the third one is leadership. And we'll go into leadership here if we have enough time. Let's go to the phone lines. Who are we going to? Mr. Bobby? Mr. Bobby! What's up, Mr. Bobby?
Yeah, LT, military strength. That's odd. I was just talking to a retired, he just retired. He ranked up as a major in the Marine Corps intelligence. And he said, Bobby, you know who's stirring up a lot of this big mess? I said, no, but you fixing to tell me that's why you're a major and I'm a flea on a dog's back. He said the ACLU.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
That's
You think so?
Yeah, they're in the background stirring the pot, and that's what we were talking about, the first issue you brought up, military strength.
Hey, that's an interesting thought. That's an interesting aspect. Hey, thanks, Mr. Bobby, as always. Tell your major friend I said hello.
Yeah, you might have met him in Desert Storm, but I can't mention the name. Copy out.
I was in the second one, not the first one. I was in second grade when the first one. All right, who we going to? All right, Renee. What's up, Renee? Oh, go to the other one. What's up,
With
Renee?
the politics,
there we go.
Yeah, with the politics, I just do not understand that you got good gas prices, you got wonderful stores, you got a car, medical. No matter if you're a communist or hippie communist or right-wing or whatever, you should want to have a good standard of living. I mean, how many of these silly people know that when their communist pipe dream comes true, they're not going to have all these nice things they've been having since they were little babies?
Yeah, you know, hey, look, a lot of folks are agreeing, you know. All right. Okay, Mr. Blue Wave, tell me where I'm right.
Okay, another prediction. John Bell Edwards 2026. Count on it. Count on it.
Man.
Hey, I knew that dude behind you that talking with you. I'm gonna make him laugh.
He's laughing over there. Trust me. Hey, but you
John
know what?
Bell Edwards 2026. I'm telling you.
Hey, Mr. Blue Wave.
Hey, my connection.
Okay, I got it. Look, that's two predictions. And he says 2 blue waves. One blue wave is the Seahawks this Sunday. You know, you could have went blue wave either way because the Patriots are blue, but they're choosing to wear all white. So I get it. Seahawks, blue wave, okay. And then John Bell Edwards. Man, I think John Bell Edwards wins against Senator Cassidy. I don't think he wins against the other ones.
I think it would be a struggle for sure.
Yeah, I don't think he beats Fleming. I don't think he beats Letlow. Oh, you think?
I think he could possibly beat Secretary Fleming. I don't think he would beat Letlow.
Okay. What makes you say that about John?
Overall, the state, he would struggle to pull independents that John Bell would easily pull.
Oh, okay. All right. And look, there was enough Republicans, the quote-unquote Republicans behind him, and, you know, he probably would retain some of those folks. Hey, Mr. Blue Wave, Doggone it. But I think now here's where I'll disagree. Obviously Trump will endorse him against John Bel Edwards, and I think that endorsement carries. I think it carries with fundraising to be able to get out all the very good record that John Fleming has. I mean, solid conservative, solid. So anyway, you know who else is solid? Sean. He understands. What's up, Sean?
Hey, man. Let's look at the positives. If we pass the SAVE Act that you need to have ID to vote, you got 71% of Democrats that say, yeah, that makes sense. You got 95 of Republicans. Okay, now we have a consensus on one thing. Let's build off of that. And we can keep from another 2020 in the future. So
yes,
that's really all I got to say about it, man.
Brother, good job. Good call. As always. So when we talk about this third reason, let's go back to the U.S. being the sole superpower. Third is leadership. And I think the other two, think about it. We had military strength. It was starting to cross into some silly things, though, okay? Like not military stuff. And Pete Hegseth, look, guys, Pete Hegseth may be a very extreme secretary. I get it. But don't you think that's needed considering the opposite end of extreme DEI stuff, all this other things, letting folks do the whole gender transfer stuff in the military? And I mean, look, I ain't out to hate anybody. I'm just saying you had that where war fighting wasn't the focus, and then you have Secretary Hegseth. Okay, so maybe the next guy or gal's not that extreme, but it is needed right now. And but the military, you could always argue, okay, they were there. The economic strength wasn't always there. We were allowing ourselves to be on par with Russia and China overall. Matter of fact, we're giving them our manufacturing jobs and saying, no, we'll keep being a service-related industry economy. We won't build any things. We'll just let other folks do it. Why? But third is leadership. It's more, look, you got to have the economic strength, you got to have the military strength, but you got to know how to use it, and you have to know how to be responsible with it, not speeches about global citizenship. I mean, the American president should be doing that. Leadership that understands the world still runs on strength, on trade, on energy, whether we like it or not, and deterrence. Trump does not apologize for American influence, and that drives people crazy sometimes, but it shouldn't. He uses it. Other presidents use it. He does not confuse restraint with retreat either. He can be disciplined. He's shown you that in the tariffs. He can be disciplined in a lot of things. Very flexible. That is his leadership style, and I think it's a great leadership style. And notice how the world adjusts off of it accordingly. And none of this should be playing Globocop. I can't stand that. It means setting terms, being disciplined, enforcing boundaries, backing allies who stand up to tyrants. The sole superpower, that status never lasts forever. The last two times we did squander it. We have to admit that. This time, we have a shot. We have a chance to lock all of it in. We could lock in this for generations. We are in a great position to be a sole superpower and really do good. But we will crumble within if we let some of our principles go, like lawfare. We got to stop that. If we lose the judiciary, we lose everything. Some of this fighting that we do through the media, we got to stop all that. What did Reagan say? The person that disagrees with you 40% of the time is 60% your friend. Ronald Reagan got a lot of stuff done as a president. Changed the culture of our country, changed our attitude, our belief, our national pride, but not like in a bad pride, just esprit de corps. There you go. And we have a great opportunity, but we can't let our institutions of justice be abused by prosecutors, by rogue actors that are very rare. I get it, but it is very important that because if we lose that, done. You can be the strongest military you want. You'll be a dictator country with votes. You know, you can have the most disciplined Congress and fiscal policy, but you lose the judiciary, it's gone. You lose everything in the judicial process, the prosecutorial process, not being used for politics, not being used for vindictiveness. We got to stop that. I mean, the thing in Trump with New York, they stretched a statute, correct me if I'm wrong, they stretched a statute that wasn't even, it had prescribed, but then this other statute came and they were like, oh no, but if you do this, then you do this, and you fit it. Oh, here's the indictment. Like they can do that. Like we got to stop that because we will lose our entire country if we use the judiciary in lawfare purposes. We can't be a moral superpower if our country at the national level, any of this lawfare at the local level, across wherever you're at. I mean, this is American stuff right here. And I think with this leadership and with our military kind of getting back where we need to be and with this economic strength, guys, we can't kill our country within off of these games. All right, stick around. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Josh Guillory Show, broadcasting live from the KPEL studios here in Lafayette, Louisiana. Man, go check out my friends over there at Stan's Auto, always taking care of folks. I see them all the time. They always take care of me and my family. So, yeah, Stan's Auto, 2 locations here in Lafayette and New Iberia, Admiral Doyle and New Iberia, off of Johnston here in Lafayette by Reds, Ducey Road and Johnson Street. All right, let's move on to Iran. All right, let's see here. Okay, so when President Trump says Iran's supreme leader should be very worried, I don't know if that's trash talk. That's kind of...
I think I'd read the room.
I would read the room. I think, the U.S. and Iran are heading into talks after the U.S. Wiped out Tehran's nuclear program. That sentence alone would have sounded unthinkable just a few years ago, if you think about it. And now it's the baseline. I mean, come on, So Iran knows exactly why those talks are happening. They know its nuclear infrastructure was destroyed. Its regime lost leverage. Its proxies lost confidence. That's important too. But its people are back in the streets. I mean, they are, man, talk about brave. Jeez. Trump's approach here seems to be pretty simple, seems to be pretty effective. Pressure first, diplomacy second. Seems to always be in that order. Sometimes it's needed. Most of the time, diplomacy probably would work first and efficiently. But look at the other side. They have not necessarily been great partners to work with. But the administration is clear about what it wants. Nuclear limits, missile limits, an end to terror sponsorship, better treatment of its own citizens. I mean, who can argue with that? What, the Democrat, Republican, Green Party, Alien Party? Who can argue with that? Iran, by contrast, wants sanctions relief and narrow talks. Well, that is understandable from their perspective, but that mismatch tells you everything you need to know about who holds the cards, and that's why we follow that last topic up with this topic. And I think what is not happening could be just as important as what is happening. There is no regional war. There's no American quagmire. We've seen that. There's no coalition begging Washington to calm down. Instead, Arab nations feel safer. Shipping lanes, very, very important. They're being defended. Iranian harassment is being met in real time. Something that have we ever seen that? Can you recall?
No, I remember when Iran arrested several U.S. Navy sailors, and the Obama administration pledged to negotiate with them.
Yeah. Everybody else remember that? Seems like yesterday.
Yep.
And it wasn't. But all of what, and if you think about it, look at the deterrence working. And it's not the deterrence that we think it's just consistent message with clarity, being proactive. If it is a situation for foreign diplomacy to go a certain way, well, then, okay, that's fine. You put the pressure, then you relieve. But my goodness. So, anywho, all right. So instead, we got these Arab nations feeling a little safer. Shipping lanes, they're being defended. That's good. Now, Trump's also honest about the stakes. He openly says Iran tried to rebuild at alternative sites. He openly says the U.S. found out. He openly says the response would be severe. That clarity matters. Ambiguity invites miscalculation. Iran has a long history of testing weakness. You know? But listen, guys, I want everybody here to have a great afternoon. May God bless you. Be careful out there and be kind.